It rises from amidst the very cornfields on which it depends, and it has become a major source of energy, not only for our cars, but also for farmers, livestock, and the local economy. The KAAPA Ethanol plant near Minden, Nebraska began operation in November 2003. KAAPA Ethanol is primarily farmer-owned and employs nearly 40 people. We produce 59 million gallons of ethanol each year, plus about 500,000 tons of livestock feed. A kernel of corn is made up of starch, oil, and germ. The starch is the only portion we use to make ethanol. The rest goes into the livestock feed we also make here. 1 bushel of corn can make about 2.8 gallons of ethanol, plus about 18 pounds of livestock feed. Ethanol results in 1.6 times more energy value than it takes to produce, and that includes the energy it takes to raise the corn. Each day, we grind 60,000 bushels of corn, about 21 million bushels annually, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's equal to nearly the entire harvest in our home county. But we actually draw corn from a 40-mile radius, putting about $75 million in the pockets of corn farmers each year. Farmers deliver corn to the KAAPA Ethanol plant almost every day. We use field corn to make ethanol, not the sweet corn you buy at the grocery store. We have storage for 1.8 million bushels of corn, enough to keep the plant running for more than 1 month. It takes about 60 to 65 hours to turn a load of grain into ethanol. Ethanol production is basically a fermentation and distillation process. Corn is delivered to the plant. The corn is ground into a coarse meal and conveyed to the cooking system. Liquids, heat, and enzymes are added to form a slurry mash. Yeast and a second enzyme are added to the mash as it enters the fermentation process. The fermented solution is then distilled to separate the ethanol from the water and the remaining mash. At this point, the ethanol and a small amount of water go one way, and the remaining water and mash go another. Let's follow the ethanol stream first. The ethanol is dehydrated to remove remaining water. A denaturant is added to meet federal shipping regulations. The ethanol is stored and eventually shipped by rail or truck to petroleum marketers, who blend this high-octane, clean-burning fuel with gasoline that we put into our vehicles. Now, let's return to the distillation process. After distillation, the water and remaining mash, called whole stillage, heads another direction. Excess water is removed with centrifuges that spin at a high velocity, separating the whole stillage into 2 products: wet cake or heavy solids, and thin stillage or light solids. The thin stillage goes to a set of evaporators to remove water, which is reused in the cooking process. What remains is a syrup that is added back to the heavy solids. The final blended product is a high-quality livestock feed called distiller's grains that is trucked to area feedlots. So, ethanol production is making fuel, feed, and food, all from a bushel of corn. Most of our ethanol is not used in Nebraska, but is shipped to markets such as California, Colorado, and Arizona. The high-value livestock feed we make is called distiller's grains and is trucked to feedlots in an 80-mile radius. Livestock producers have quickly adopted distiller's grains as a replacement for traditional corn. Some use up to 50 to 60% in their cattle rations. At KAAPA Ethanol, we have extensive testing and controls on site to ensure consistent quality. And we are 100% committed to complying with all safety and environmental regulations. By the way, the plume you see rising from our plant is not smoke. It's just steam generated from cooling and drying processes in the plant. We recycle most of the water we use, either back into the ethanol process, through the livestock feed, or through irrigation on local crops. Ethanol is used in fuel in many ways, from 10% blends all the way up to E85, which is 85% ethanol. E85 can be used in flex fuel vehicles, which can also operate on any ethanol blend from 10 to 85%, as well as ordinary unleaded gasoline. And new blender pumps allow flex fuel vehicle owners to choose an even wider variety of ethanol blends. Most importantly, ethanol is a reliable and renewable source of fuel, one we produce and refine right here in America. That means we're keeping hard-earned dollars here at home, creating jobs, economic strength, and energy security for Nebraska and our nation. Ethanol is not the only answer to America's energy challenges, but it's an important part of the answer. And it's a solution that we have available right here, right now. At KAAPA Ethanol, we're proud to be a part of this important industry, part of Nebraska's rural development, and a contributor to America's future.